Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Montrose Air Station Heritage Centre, where today we're here to open our latest exhibition, remembering the romance that developed at Montrose during the First World War with the arrival of the US Airmen in 1917 and 1918. First, I'd like to welcome our distinguished guests. We're joined today by Mrs. Susan Wilson, Principal Officer of the US Consulate in Edinburgh, who will formally open our event. I believe Susan's a historian, so I'm pretty sure she's going to be checking on some of Dan's work here to make sure that there's no mistakes and correct us accordingly. We're also joined by Mrs. Georgiana Osborne, the Lord Lieutenant of Angus, who I believe also has an interesting story of courtship in her family that she's going to tell us about. We also have Provost Ronnie Proctor, the Provost of Angus, and Air Vice Marshal Ross Patterson, Air Officer Commanding Scotland. However, we also have some other very important guests, providing a very tangible link between today's exhibition and the present day. We have with us Mrs. Evelyn Smart, who is the great-granddaughter of Wilhelmina Duncan, a woman from Montrose who married Carl Johnson of the 138th Pursuit Squadron, United States Air Service in 1918. We also have the families of Samuel Swain and Anne Boyack, the first couple to marry only a few months after the arrival of No. 2 Squadron in 1913, and the families of other founding members of No. 2 Squadron, Sergeant Herbert Bullock and Corporal William Parrott. Sergeant Bullock married Elizabeth Anderson of Montrose in 1914, and Corporal Bullock married Ava Mackenzie just a few days after the end of the First World War. Their families have travelled from all over Scotland and the south of England to attend this event, and are a reminder that theirs and the American weddings that took place at that time were part of the wider social impact of on the local community that the arrival of hundreds of men in uniform had at RFC RAF Montrose. And we also have with us today Dr. John Todd, the grandson of Captain John Todd, a highly decorated and honoured pilot from the First World War, who ended the war at Montrose as a flight instructor flying the very rare two-seat Sopwith Camels. I hope you enjoyed learning about the many romances and weddings that resulted from the development of the air station at Montrose, and remember that these were desperate and difficult times. So to be able to develop an exhibition of the stories of people from widely differing backgrounds coming together from different countries and finding happiness in the midst of a tragic conflict, for once this is a happy story. Thank you and welcome to this exhibition.